along with us. My name is Dee. This is a beginning basics flow. It's suitable for beginners, for first timers, but really anyone who just wants to take some time to slow down, really settle into shapes. As always, if you've been joining me for classes, you know that my cat Daisy loves the camera, so she's here with me. A few props that you probably want to grab for class. You may use them, you may not. A block or something to use as a block. So you may want to have a book or a tissue box that's sturdy. A shoe box would work really great. So we're going to use this block to bring the floor up to us a bit. Again, you might use it, you might not, but it is really nice to have that lift sometimes and just notice the difference between the floor lifted and not lifted. Secondly, something to use as a strap. I do have a yoga strap here, but in the past I've shown you guys you can use a scarf, you can use a belt, you can really use anything. So again, we're just going to use this for some stretches at the beginning and end of class. Let's go ahead and begin on our backs. Once I get you settled in on your backs, then I'm going to sit back up. So go ahead and come onto your back. Soles of your feet might be on the mat, or maybe you extend your legs long. Take a few moments to notice yourself here in this space, to feel the parts of your body that are touching the mat. The parts of your body that move whenever you breathe. Noticing your natural pattern of inhaling and exhaling, not trying to change anything, just noticing. And today, I invite you to give yourself the chance to pause. So we will be moving, we'll be working, but there will also be plenty of time to stop, to settle in, whether it's in a powerful shape or in a resting shape. In this great pause that we're in right now, at least a lot of us, sometimes it can be really stressful, really hard to just stop and notice. And I want to encourage you to begin doing that on your mat, because then it's a lot easier to take these things into the real world. Allow yourself to slow it all down. Pause your full calendar and long task list. Take a moment or 10 to simply be. To remind yourself that this is life, right here and right now. To reacquaint yourself with your pulsing heart and your incredible body that allows you to do all that you do. To remember that life is precious and should be lived in love. To remind yourself that whatever is happening, or wherever you find yourself in your journey, it is all as it is supposed to be. As you're settled in here on your back, begin to deepen your breath. So breathing in and out through your nose, if that feels okay to you, or breathing out of your mouth, if that feels best. Just slowly starting to expand your inhales and exhales so that they grow a little bit deeper, a little bit slower. On your inhales, really feeling your belly rise and your heart lift. And on your exhales, noticing yourself maybe relaxing just one part of your body at a time. Letting yourself stay in this moment, in this pause. You, your body, your breath, your thoughts. Let yourself be here and pause. Let your inhales grow a little deeper now. And let your exhales become a little bit slower. Maybe finding a brief pause at the top and bottom of your breath. Really notice that feeling of fullness and that feeling of emptiness. Noticing how everything changes. How your body feels different on your inhale than on your exhale. Begin to take inventory of thoughts that are going on in your head. It's an easy thing to say, pause your thoughts, but it's another story whenever we actually try to do it. Fighting our thoughts, fighting our worries and our fears often causes these things to try to fight their way in even more. So what I encourage you to do here in this pause at the beginning of class is just to notice, just to take inventory of what's going through your head. And then as you exhale, see if you can begin to allow these thoughts to float away. Maybe imagining that you're on by a stream, and you're placing thoughts and worries on leaves, and gently allowing them just to float out of sight, and letting your focus be on your breath. You can keep the same imagery throughout class, if it suits you. And maybe you have to put the same thought on 100 different leaves. That's okay. It's normal. And acknowledging what's going on in our mind is the first step to finding pause from our worries and our fears. As you're ready, slowly start to wake up your body. Keeping your deep inhales and exhales, start to move your fingers and your toes. Maybe doing some circles with your wrists and your ankles. If your feet aren't flat on the mat, go ahead and curl them so that they're flat now. Knees are up towards the sky. And then begin to let your knees rock to the left and to the right, taking a few windshield wipers to begin to wake up the low back and the hips. Let this movement come to a stop. And then see if you can crawl your heels just a little bit closer to your seat. It doesn't have to be very far. Maybe you don't move them at all. We're going to take a moment to begin to engage the legs. Start to press down into your feet, and slowly as you do, start to peel the hips up off of the mat. And then once you lift up into this baby bridge pose, you could stay right here, or you could begin to crawl your shoulders down underneath of you just a little bit more. Really rooting your feet down. Engaging in your legs. See if you could pull your thighs towards one another. If you're engaging in your glutes, that's absolutely okay, but let's try to find some more engagement in the legs. So imagine that you're trying to pull your heels of your feet back towards your seat. Feel that change there. Feel that fire that you're creating. Take another inhale and exhale as slow as you can. Let everything lower back down to the mat. Pause here. A few windshield wipers side to side. And then let's do that again. Feet flat on the mat. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, press up. Maybe you lift up a little bit higher this time. Really pressing your feet into the mat. Squeezing your thighs together, breathing into this space. If you'd like, begin to find a 90-degree angle at your elbows so you can begin to press your triceps down into the mat and use this powerful position to lift your hips just a little bit higher. Take another inhale. Exhale, slowly lower down. Pause and reset before we do that one more time. Windshield wipers might feel good here. And then when you're ready, soles of your feet come back to the mat. Deep breath in. Exhale to lift up. So arms can stay flat. You can find that 90-degree angle. Or if you'd like, you can begin to clasp your hands behind your low back. Squeezing your hands together, pulling them down towards your heels. Pressing your feet into the mat, pulling your heels towards your hands. Let yourself feel this burn. Feel a bit shaky. Take another inhale. And then exhale. Let the release be sweet. Slowly begin to let go of all of these muscles that were doing the work. And then let the soles of the feet come together to touch. And begin to let your knees come wide open. You can rock your hips from side to side a bit, and then take your right hand and place it on your belly, and take your left hand and place it on your heart. Really feel your breath moving through you. Slow, complete inhales and exhales. Maybe on your exhales, your knees soften a little bit more. Begin to bring the soles of the feet back to the mat. And then keep your left foot planted and lift your right knee towards the sky. We're going to reach for the back of the right thigh, this little sweet spot where you can get a hook here behind your knee. Or you can even reach both hands around your shin or around your knee, whatever's best for you. We're just going to slowly pull the right knee in towards the chest. And then if you feel like you have more space, allow the right knee to come to the outside of your body. Start to draw some circles, going one direction, and then the other way. And then we're going to cross the right leg over the left. Building a figure 4 shape. Stay right here for a moment and begin to actively press your right knee away from your body. So we're opening the hip. You could stay right here, or you can begin to lift the left foot off of the mat and reach for the back of your left thigh. You could stay just like this, or you can let the left leg go and just keep a hold of your right shin. Finding space on each exhale. Slowly we'll let go. Bring the soles of both feet to the mat. And then let the soles of your feet come together once again. Knees open wide. Pause here for a moment. And notice the difference between your left and right sides. What a few moments pausing with the breath can do. On the other side now, letting the soles of your feet come back to the mat. Bending your left, or pulling your left knee up. Reaching for the back of your left thigh or reaching around your shin. Pulling it in towards the chest just for a moment. And then slowly starting to let it open up a bit. a few circles, one direction, and then switching back the other way. And now crossing the left leg over the right. And actively begin to press that left knee away. Continue deep breathing. And then your choice, you could stay here. You can begin to lift the right leg, reaching for the back of the right thigh. Or you can just keep a hold of the left shin, pulling it in towards your body. Slowly let go. Both feet will come down to the mat. Rinse everything out. A few windshield wipers to the left and to the right. As you're ready, we're going to roll all the way over onto one side or the other. And begin to come on to hands and knees. So your hips are over your knees. Your shoulders are over your wrists. You can certainly have a bit of an angle with your hands out in front of you, or you can have them just underneath of you. Begin to really press your hands down into the mat. Pull your belly button towards your low back. Crown of your head is reaching towards the front of the room. Steady your gaze and steady your breath here for a moment. And now tug your toes and begin to sink your hips back, finding a stretch for the feet, for the calves. Let your head hang heavy, and rock your hips to the left and to the right a few times. Come back up. You can leave your toes tucked or untuck them. And we'll take a few rounds of cat and cow. On an inhale, belly drops, head and tail reach up towards the sky. Exhale, beginning with the tailbone, we find a wave in the spine until your chin tucks at the bottom of the breath. Inhaling, find your cow pose. Exhale to cat. Let these movements get bigger as you continue to move with your breath, filling all the way up and emptying completely out. We're going to move from here into our first downward facing dog. Spread your fingertips wide, tuck your toes, sink your hips back first, and then use that pressure to lift your hips up to the sky. Heels can be lifted and knees bent here. Pressing into all 10 fingers, let your head be heavy, and press your chest towards your thighs. And then begin to pedal everything out. Pedaling your knees, rocking your hips from side to side. And then as you're ready, we're really going to fire everything up. And we're going to crawl our hands back towards our feet. And then use your heels and your toes to widen your stance until your feet come to the wide edge of your mat. You might want to grab your block here as we begin to find a Ragdoll Pose. Bending in your knees, letting yourself begin to fall, letting everything hang heavy. Maybe, if it feels okay, you grab opposite elbows with opposite hands. Take some rocks from side to side and begin to release any tension that you might be holding on to in your upper body. Slowly, as you're ready, we're going to come up to standing. Once you arrive, let's take our feet and move them so that they're just hip distance apart. You can keep facing the same way. It's going to face you so you can see me. Let your fingertips drape down by your side. Stand tall and breathe here. When you're ready, we're going to reach for our strap. So again, this can be anything. It can be a belt, it can be a scarf, anything that you have handy that can kind of give us a little bit of grip. We're going to start to open up our shoulders. So keeping your feet about hip distance, maybe a little bit wider. Let's take the strap in the hands wider than your shoulders and hold it up and overhead. We're going to take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, slowly let the strap come all the way down, letting your grip get as wide as it needs to. And then as you're ready, come back up. Stay here until you take an inhale. And then exhale. Let's lower down until we get stuck without widening this time. Stay right here. Let's pause in this moment. If you're feeling any pain, definitely loosen your grip. If you feel just a bit of tightness, let's just take a few movements up and down with the strap. Maybe left to right a bit. Take another inhale. And then widen your grip, come all the way down. We'll use an inhale to reach up. Maybe bring your hands closer together again. We'll stay here until we take another deep breath in. And then we repeat. Exhale. Slowly start to lower down and pause wherever it is that you come to a stop naturally. Don't try to fight it. Let's just notice ourselves here in this pause, in this space. Maybe you move up and down just a little bit, maybe to the left and to the right. When we work to build space and flexibility, pushing ourselves into these shapes will not work. Our brain will learn that we're not safe, and it will tell our bodies, hurry up and get out of this. But when we settle in and we take our time, and we teach our body that it's okay, we can breathe here. Let's take another inhale. And then widen your grip. Exhale, lower all the way down. Go ahead and drop your strap off to the side. And then come back to your tall mountain pose. Fingertips reaching down towards the mat. Take a deep breath in. Open your mouth and sigh everything out. We're going to move right into a balancing shape. If you're near a wall, that can be really fantastic here to help build this balance initially. Your block might also come in handy. It's up to you. I'll give you lots of options. So we're going to begin to shift weight over into the left foot and into the left leg. One thing to notice here that I talk to a lot is that sometimes as we start to find balance, we want to lean back to help ourselves balance, but that's just going to dump into our back and it's really not going to lead us anywhere good in the long run. So one thing that I want you to notice whenever you eventually lift up is if your shoulders aren't over top of your hips, then let's find that pull of the belly button towards the back. I don't mean suck in your belly. I just mean try to find an engagement in your core, kind of like you're doing a sit-up, to let yourself straighten so that your shoulders come over your hips. That might mean that your leg doesn't lift as high. That's okay. That's not what we're going for. So we'll begin shifting weight into your left foot. We're going to bring the right knee up towards the chest. Now, you can use your hand here to hold on, or you can find that same grip. If you feel yourself coming back, then we want to zip that belly and come forward. Few options. Wall is great. Foot to block is also great. Maybe just a toe to the block might feel good here. So we want to let ourselves get wobbly in some form or another. That's okay. That's how we find our balance, is we let our body do a bit of work here and we trust it to balance us out. We're going to take another inhale. And then nice and slow, we're going to bring this right foot behind us and tap the right toes down. We're going to come into a crescent lunge from here. So I like my stance to be a little bit longer. I'm going to crawl these left toes forward. Our left knee is going to bend. Our right leg is going to be straight. Reach your arms up overhead and take a deep breath in. As you exhale, we're going to peel open warrior two. So now our right foot is parallel to the back of the mat and our right leg remains straight. Our left toes are still facing front and our left knee is bent. We've done a lot of hip opening here. So one thing that we want to do in our warrior two is feel this knee coming towards the left pinky toe. So rather than this, we want to open up so that eventually we're standing up nice and tall and we have a straight line all the way down the back of our body. If your shoulders are pulling back, let's find that belly engagement, shoulders over hips. And now extend our arms long. Gaze is over the left middle finger, and we breathe deep here. We'll take another inhale and another exhale. And as we inhale, we're going to square off the hips, come back up on the right toes, and find crescent lunge again. Take a breath in here. And then as slowly as you can, we're going to lower the back knee down. If you need to use your hands, that's okay. Let me fix my mat here. Begin to crawl your left foot forward. Hands can be on your hips, one hand to your hip, one to your knee. And if this is a lot on your knee that's down, you can grab a pillow, blanket, anything that you'd like to place underneath of it. Begin to let yourself sink forward. Nice and slow at first. Feel the space building. You'll feel it a lot in the front of your right leg. You might feel it other places too. That's okay. Just notice and breathe. Now we're going to take our block and place it at the front of our mat in front of our left foot. We're going to tuck our right toes. On an inhale, reach your arms up high, pull your left foot back so you have a 90-degree angle. And as you exhale, we're going to lean forward. Our hands are going to come down to this block, and we're going to step up. So now our right leg is straight. And we're going to take our hands in our block, move it a bit forward, a bit more, and begin to let that right leg fly, coming into a warrior three. If you need to tap down your right toes at any time, you absolutely can. You can also bend your left knee. Steady your gaze to some place that is not moving. And again, let yourself feel a bit out of balance. You can move the block, readjust to any height and any spot. If you're feeling real good here, maybe you bring a hand to your heart. Maybe both hands to your heart. Keep breathing. Take another inhale. Exhale, right foot comes forward. Plant it down beside the left. Bend your knees and forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up to standing. Reach your arms up high. Exhale, hands to heart center. Fingertips down by your side. Let yourself breathe. Let yourself settle here. Take a moment and notice the difference between your right and left sides. Now we begin again. We shift weight over into our right foot, our right leg, and begin to pull the left knee up to our chest. Same options. You can find a grip. You can use your block. You can use your wall. Try not to lean back. We want to zip up, pull forward. Deep breaths here. Trust your body to find the balance that you need. Stay just where you are. I'm going to turn around for demo purposes. We'll take another inhale. Exhale, left foot comes back nice and slow until left toes tap down on the mat. Left heel stays lifted. So crescent lunge. Left leg is straight, right knee is bent. If you feel that balance is difficult here, I'd recommend walking your right foot out to the right a bit. Maybe one side feels completely different than the other. Begin to sweep your arms up overhead. Squeeze your thighs together. Take a deep breath in. And peel open warrior two. So now, left foot is parallel to the back of the mat. Left leg is straight. Right knee remains bent. And remember, rather than caving our knee in, we want to use this space that we've built in our hip to press our right knee towards our right pinky toe. Shoulders over hips, arms reach long. Gaze over your right middle finger. Breathe. One more inhale. And exhale. Inhale back to crescent, up on your left toes. Arms reach up high. Deep breath in. Exhale, slowly lower down. Crawl your right toes forward. Find a place where you can settle and begin to breathe. We'll slowly begin to pull ourselves back up. So we're going to pull the right foot back so our right knee is at a 90-degree angle. Block's going to come to the front of our right foot to help us out in getting up into this warrior three. We're going to tuck our left toes. Use an inhale, reach your arms up high. Exhale, hands come to the block. Tuck your left toes. Begin to shift some weight forward into the right leg and into your hands. Then as you're ready, left leg lifts. Left leg can be any height. As you breathe here, again, you can lift your hands. You can leave them planted. Your choice. Take another inhale. Exhale, left foot meets the mat. Forward fold. Inhale, bend in your knees, rise up, reach your arms up high. Exhale, hands to heart center. Take your fingertips, bring them down to either side of your body. And we breathe here. Now, we're going to begin to make our way down to the mat. We will make our way back up for one more flow like that, but we'll move faster. Begin to use an inhale to reach your arms up high. Exhale, bend your knees, forward fold. Place your hands on your shins or your thighs. Straighten your spine. Take an inhale and a halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold again. Bend your knees, plant your hands, and we're going to step back to some variation of a plank pose. So knees can be lifted or lowered. It's your choice. Again, feel the belly pulling in towards the low back, and we breathe here. We'll take weight out of the wrists by tucking the toes, sinking the hips back, again stretching the feet. Take some rocks from side to side. And now let's come forward with the knees still lowered. Take an inhale with the shoulders over the wrists. And on your exhale, squeeze your elbows in towards your sides, lower all the way down. Rock your hips from side to side a few times. And now we build a Sphinx pose. Bring the forearms and the hands flat to the mat. Gaze stays down. We want to keep this shape out of the back of the neck. Press into the tops of your feet. See if you can lift your knees and maybe your thighs up. Or maybe you let that go. Press into your hands, press into your forearms. Imagine that you're pulling them back towards your body and feel the stretch for your belly. Feel your body start to come through the gate of your arms. If you'd like, you can stay right here. Or we can make it a bit deeper by taking a seal pose. So hands are going to come to the right and left corners of your mat. Arms are going to begin to straighten. And again, gaze stays down. Wrists should not be under shoulders here. They should be forward and to the outside a bit. If you feel this in your low back, definitely come back into Sphinx. Let's lower back down onto the forearms for a moment. Make sure that your gaze is down and then bend your knees and windshield wiper a few times from side to side. And now again, you can stay here or you can begin to bring your hands underneath of your shoulders and start to press yourself up into a full cobra. So tops of the legs are on the mat here. Gaze is down. Remember, if here isn't where you need to be, you could take it back down into that Sphinx or seal pose. One final option in these heart openers is to find a full upward facing dog. So the difference between here and our Cobra and our upward facing dog is that we're going to press into the tops of our feet and we're going to lift our legs up. Maybe just for a moment, maybe not at all. Take another inhale. Exhale, squeeze your elbows in as you lower all the way down. Cross your arms in front of you. Let your right cheek rest. Bend your knees. Windshield wiper from side to side. Slowly let the tops of your feet come back to the mat. And then we're going to bring our hands underneath of our shoulders. Press through tabletop. Tuck your toes, sink your hips back. Lift up, down dog. Walking your hands back to your feet. We'll find a forward fold again. Bending your knees, walking your feet out wide. Maybe a block. Maybe opposite elbows with opposite hands. Take another inhale. Exhale, let go. Inhale, rise all the way up to standing. And then reach your arms up overhead. Take an inhale here. Exhale, hands to heart center. We're going to step towards the top of the mat. Take a few breaths here. And then one more flow. Same shapes, bit faster, lots of options. Take what's best for you. Use your next inhale, lift your right knee to your chest. As you exhale, slowly press it back, finding a crescent lunge. Inhale, reach your arms up overhead. Exhale, peel open, warrior two. Take an inhale and an exhale here. Inhale, spin back around, crescent lunge. Exhale, back knee lowers down. Crawl your left toes forward. Grab your block if you need. I forgot mine. Sink in here for another round of breath. And then use an inhale, reach your arms up high. As you exhale, hands come down to the block. We're going to tuck the right toes, straighten the right leg, and begin to readjust the block until you launch off. Lifting your right leg up. We'll take an inhale here in this warrior three. Exhale, both feet meet the mat. Forward fold. Inhale, rise up, reach your arms up high. Exhale, hands to heart center. Settle it here for a few rounds of breath. Again, I'm going to face the other way just for demonstration, but you can stay right where you are. Preparing to move again. Inhale, left knee lifts. Exhale, send it back, find your crescent lunge. Inhale, arms reach up high. Exhale, peel open, warrior two. Inhale, come back up, crescent. Exhale, lower down gently. Right toes crawl forward. Sink in here for a few rounds of breath. Place your block. We'll use an inhale, reach your arms up high. Tuck your toes. Exhale, hands meet the block. Start to shift your weight as your left leg lifts and come forward, launching off into your warrior three. Once you arrive, we'll take a breath in and a breath out. One more breath in. Exhale, both feet meet the mat, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold again. Place your hands on the mat, bend your knees, step back to your kneeling plank. Hold here for a few rounds of breath. And then tuck your toes, sink your hips back. So not quite full child's pose. You can go there if you'd like, or you can stay right here and stretch out your feet a bit. Then when you're ready, we're going to sweep the legs out in front of us, come on to our back, and take our strap with us. Soles of the feet on the mat again. Take a few windshield wipers side to side. And then as you're ready, we're going to take the strap and we're going to place it around the sole of our right foot. Just finding a stretch to the center, nice and gentle. Take a few rounds of breath here. We're slowly going to bend the right knee. Let this go. Let the sole of the right foot come back down to meet the left. And take a few windshield wipers again. And then we'll take it on the other side. Left leg lifts. Strap around the sole of the left foot. Take a few rounds of breath here. We'll slowly let this go. Set the strap off to the side. And we'll begin to set up for our final rest. So final rest is where we take official pause from everything. We let all the work of our practice begin to settle in. And it can be in any shape that you'd like. It can be on your back, maybe with knees bent or extended out long. It could be on your side, on your belly, on your seat, anywhere that feels completely restful for you. We'll settle in together for about 10 breaths. If you'd like your rest to be longer than this, you can absolutely pause this video and stay for as long as you'd like. if you're ready, as you're ready, begin to find some movements in your fingers and toes. Rock your wrists and ankles just like we did at the beginning of class. And then if you'd like more movement, reach your arms up and overhead, extend your legs out long. On an inhale, take a full body stretch. Exhale, let it all go. We'll roll over onto our left side. Just for a moment, resting your cheek on your bicep, curling your knees in. And then we'll press into the left forearm and come on up into a seated position, anything that works for you. Let your hands rest. Let yourself sit up nice and tall. And we'll take a final round of breath together. Take a deep breath in through your nose. And a sigh through your mouth. Bring your hands to heart center. Maybe forehead to thumb knuckles. Take a moment. Send gratitude to yourself, to your mind, your body, your breath. Thank you. Thank you all so much for coming out, for joining me for this class, whenever it is that you're doing it. I encourage you, if you have any questions, reach out to me. If you'd like a more challenging class, if you'd like classes that are like this, if you would like a softer class, we have lots of stretching classes. Just let me know. Reach out. You can email the studio, info@flexyogastudios.com. You can look me up on Instagram if you'd like. Message me. I usually respond pretty quickly. Thank you all so much for continuing to participate with us, with the studio during this time, for continuing to donate. It's such a huge help, and just continuing to participate, especially in 30 Days to Flexi, helping us just all feel like we're still connected even though we're so far apart. Thank you so much.